finally, after a long time, we're back on Easy Treasy, but it's been over a year now since the Easy Treasy YouTube channel started, and it's changed so much, you know. The spirit has changed so much, what our aim has changed, so much, and the reason...
lift it up a little bit, that's it.
The reason why it's been so long is because it's not because it's dying, it's because I've been really busy finding a solution to climate change. And I want to tell you how it all began, how Easy Treasy began. Initially, I just thought that if we planted 1 trillion trees, then climate change would be instantly solved. And we'll only get better, but that was not the case. The trees will take time to grow, and in that time we'll emit a lot of CO2 if we don't do anything else, so that wouldn't work. We need to plant lots of trees and decrease carbon dioxide by using renewable. So we need to get renewable energy somehow, and then but then at the time I thought that the solution was to be curious about science and make new innovations and technologies by exploring chemicals and nature and elements. And that way I thought that we may be able to stop it, but I wasn't so sure that would stop it. But before that I also thought that the main reason was that people didn't believe in climate change truly. I thought that they believed it but didn't. So I thought they just thought it was a bunch of words and that they're not acting because of that. And then I had this idea about how you need to be curious. But I wasn't so sure that would help on its own until I realized something quite recently that changed Easy Treasy and brought it back to life. And so I thought that we need to spend all of the money that we have and all of the resources we have, even if it takes all that we have, to solve climate change. All that money and resources are worth nothing if we're not going to spend them, and then we'll die because of climate change. And it's not just us that will die, it's the whole world really. No life will be left. Unless we spend the money and resources we have. No one is really going to be happy about this, but we have to do it. What if money isn't enough? Well, the spirit stays the same. Then you just need to, even if it takes us to undevelop, go back to the times where humanity was just forming, where we were living like cavemen. Even if we have to go back to those times, then it's worth going back to those times. Anything is worth saving humanity from extinction. Ultimately, it's worth, even if we have a great civilization and then we die, it's worth nothing when we die. Nothing is more important than saving us from extinction at this point. So, and once we're cavemen, we won't be in the same position as where we were before. We'll have a lot more scientific knowledge and we'll know more about unintended consequences. So, and then we can start small. We can build a windmill or two and grow it, and then build some solar panels and stuff. Because completely renewable didn't seem to work at the larger scale, but we can start small, like build a village with completely renewable energy and then reproduce it all over the world as best we can.
So you're saying that if we need to, we should just dismantle all of the infrastructure that we've created
Yeah.
over the last 200 years
If nothing else works, then we just have to do that.
and then go back to living really simply
Yeah, and then
in little huts maybe, or use less energy basically
yeah.
in our day-to-day life.
But we won't be at the same position as we were before. We will be at the same position, but we'll have a lot more knowledge. We'll know about what different fossil fuels and stuff can cause. We'll also be able to be healthier, and all the problems would be solved, really. Especially the ones that come from unintended consequences. Like, we'll also be able to, like, industries will go away, so we'll get to rebuild them in more renewable and also less toxic products.
But this is quite a big task, isn't it? If you want to dismantle the way the world works right now. Like you said, I don't think many people are going to be happy about it.
But it's all that we can, it may be all that we can do, and if it is all we can do, we just have to do it.
That's a good point.
If just spending all the money and resources we have isn't enough, which it might not be, then we'll just have to undevelop. But the one thing that won't undevelop is our knowledge.
That's a good point. So what do you think now Easy Treasy should be doing next?
We should be convincing people in positions of power that what we just said, we should be sending them this videos. So make sure you share this to everyone, because most videos here only get like a few hundred views at the very best. And I want everyone in the world to see this. I want this video to get 7.8 billion views. Otherwise nothing is going to change.
Oh, look, ice. That's how cold it is, by the way.
That doesn't mean climate change is over.
No, of course not. There's weather and there's climate. We're talking about the weather right now. It's freezing. The climate is still changing. Global warming is a fact.
Climate change is more accurate. Global warming just sounds like the Earth is evenly getting closer. But that's not true. In some places it's only warming a bit, and other places like the Arctic it's warming a lot.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's not just the climate that will be affected, it's the weather patterns will also be affected. And
We're already seeing that, aren't we?
yeah, we're already seeing that.
Remember the forest fires last year, and then the floods in Europe?
Yeah.
Extreme weather events caused by a steadily warming Earth.
Sometimes you may get the feeling that life is so delicate that it shouldn't be able to exist. It is that delicate, but this Earth has just the right conditions, and even if it warms by a few degrees, we'll be doomed.
Exactly. It is quite a fine balance, isn't it?
So there is a solution, but you may be very unhappy about it, but you have to remember that unless we did this, then we'll all be dead.
The alternative is worse, basically, right?
Yeah. We'll get a chance to solve all the problems, not just the biggest one, climate change.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need to plant more trees alongside with that. We need to spend a lot of money into renewable energy and not spend it on other stuff.
And I think the whole world needs to work together as well, right? It can't just be that the rich countries are doing something and they're leaving the poor countries to fend for themselves. Because if you think about it, it's the poorer countries right now that are at greatest risk from climate change, even though their contribution to what has caused climate change is really little. because they don't consume as much energy as the developed world does. The
Yeah.
Industrial Revolution happened in Europe and the West, and so they contributed and are still contributing to climate change and global warming a lot more than poorer countries. Some of the developing countries are now major polluters, like China, I think, India. But historically, and if you were to tally it all up, their contribution is insignificant compared to what. And that is how the developed world became developed. It's become richer because of what it did that caused eventually climate change. So I think the whole world needs to pull together, don't you think?
Yeah. The whole world needs to do this. The whole world needs to see this video. Otherwise, nothing will happen.
Yeah. It's good to talk about these things and raise awareness and try and tell people.
Unlike all of the other trick videos, this, unless you share this, you really will die.
Oh God. Yeah. Ooh. We've got pigeons.
So you may not be happy with whatever solution we come up with, but we just have to do it anyway. Bye.
Bye.
See you next time on Easy Treasy.
Next time it's freezing. Bye.
Please share this video.
Yes, do share this video.
Bye.